Emerson is a guy that said there are no good writers. There are only good readers. That everyone has seen something written down that was obviously intended for his eyes alone. So I remember those things because I discover what I think. I have thoughts in your head, and you read somebody like Henry Miller. He said, our destination is not a place, but a different way of looking at things. And so what you're trying to do is you have to surrender your thought process altogether and try to empathetically assume the position that the person you're talking to perceives. Because he might have a different paradigm from you. He might be looking at the world from a completely different way. But if you don't get in a position where you're able to assume his point of view for that moment, then you'll never understand him. And it's so hard.
Yeah.
It is so hard because your opinion becomes part of who you are. And that's why there's a guy named Shanru Suzuki. He said the purpose of practice is to keep the beginner's mind. He said the beginner's mind is open to everything, available to anything. He said in the beginner's eyes, there are many possibilities. In the expert's eyes, only a few. So what is happening, people get in their position and they let it congeal. And they say, I will not vary from this. And if you don't risk looking at it from another position, you're stuck.
Well, it's just like you were telling me the other day, you have to be adaptable.
You have to risk. You have to say, well, I feel really uncomfortable with what he's saying, but I got to listen to it. I got to examine it. That Patriot in the 1870s says, I don't agree with what you say, but I will fight to the death to allow you to say it. Now we're going to kill you for saying anything. And it's just a tragedy because everybody's watching, nobody's doing. That there's a book in there, Andy, called For the Time Being. And it says, presumably an ordinary person can go about the course of their day with loving and compassionate intentions and change the world. He says, for it is given to man to pick up the fallen and free the imprisoned, not merely to wait, not merely to look on. It's not your work to finish, but neither are you free to take no part. It means do what you can. And it is so difficult because you've got to stop what you're doing.
Yeah.
And it's an effort. There are so many people that want a pain-free existence. And it just doesn't happen. Pain is part of that process. There's a neat play called The Shoes of the Fisherman. And in that play, the protagonist says, it costs so much to be a full human being that very few have the enlightenment or courage to pay the price. One must surrender altogether the search for security and reach out to the risk of living with both arms. One must embrace the world like a lover. One must accept pain as a condition of existence. One must count doubt and darkness as the price of knowing. One must have a will, stubborn in conflict, yet apt always to every consequence of living and die. Nobody wants to do that. You get all dirty. You get old, or you die young, or you're embarrassed. But if you don't risk, what the hell? You never will get off your butts. You never will change.
Yeah.
And that Einstein said that. Says, you have to give up who you are in order to be what you can be. And it's painful.
That's for sure.
Men go home to a good night's sleep.